Hello, I'm your host, Aaron Bond, and welcome to the Student Standard.
In Watkins Glen and in other various districts, education is in for a drastic change. Teachers' and students' lives will change. But what road is education heading towards?
As you are all probably aware, there are 15 teachers being cut from the Watkins Glen School District. So for today's interview section, I have had the honor of interviewing a teacher, a student, and the principal of Watkins Glen High School.
So, how do you feel about the 15 teachers being cut in our school district?
I think it's kind of sad, but there isn't a whole lot we can really do.
How do you think this is going to affect the education?
I think really the next couple generations, our education levels are going to go way down.
How do you think about the SOS that's going on?
Well, I don't know a whole lot about it. I know it's a group of students trying to save budgets and teachers, but I think it's a good idea.
Is there anything you think that the school district can do to save the jobs of the teachers?
Well, they can encourage the ones that are close to retiring to retire. Other than that, not really.
How do you feel about the 15 teachers being cut in our district?
It's really saddens me, and it makes me a little bit crazy. A lot of these people are friends of mine. Even if I don't know them personally, I know that they care about students a great deal. That's why they're in this profession. And I know they have, a lot of them have kids of their own, and it's going to impact not only the kids they teach, but their own children. I know it's happening all around the country and in different communities and in different walks of life, but it's kind of crazy making.
How do you think this will affect the future of Watkins Glen High School?
Well, it's inevitable that it's going to have an impact on programs, on class size, on types of courses that will be offered. If you've got fewer teachers in a department, that means fewer electives. It means larger class sizes. We'll strive to do as much as we can, and certainly we're trying to figure out ways to not have some of these teachers cut, but it's inevitably going to have an impact. And that's not good, because our main focus is the students, and anything that diminishes the kind of education and environment we can provide for students is not a good thing.
So what do you think the district could do to keep the jobs of the people being cut?
Well, that's a tough one. I mean, I know that they're faced with issues from the top down as well. When you suddenly have your state aid cut dramatically, like millions of dollars, that's a huge thing. And not to mention being faced with a tax cap that has been imposed on you, as well as mandates that aren't going away. But I think we all have to work together and be creative in figuring out things that we don't really need in terms of, things, and look more at how we can keep people in programs and get rid of, material things.
So how do you think this is going to affect the world?
Well, I don't know about the world, but I think it's going to have a dramatic impact on education in New York State. I think we'll get more privatization and more charter schools, and I don't really think anybody wants their students and their children to be spending 2 hours on a bus going to school every day, one way. But if you don't have a district, I don't know what you're going to do.
Recently that the school has an SOS going on.
I saw that.
So what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's really exciting to see that students care so much about their school and about the teachers. That means a lot. That students value their school and the education they're getting, and the teachers who are here every day for them. I think that's an important thing, and I think the community and the Board of Education needs to see that.
Well, thank you so much for the interview.
Okay, this is an interview with Mr. Warren, our high school principal in Watkins Glen School District. So, how do you feel about the teachers that are not going to be here next year?
Terrible. In many cases, in a couple cases anyways, I've been working with them for years in the building. As long as they've been here, I've been here as well. It's difficult to have to go through that for them, as well as what the loss to the district means, and the new teachers as well. We've got some younger teachers that are outstanding teachers, outstanding people, and it's a very tough time for all. So I feel very bad about it.
So, is there anything the school district can do to prevent teachers from being cut?
There's some things that probably we all could be doing, but that involves, I think, getting information to our legislators, trying to talk to people in Albany. The system that we're in is kind of broken. The funding that we're receiving has been dwindling. As far as what we can do, it's just our best bet is to kind of try to change the system, I think.
So, how do you think this will affect the high school next year?
Well, it's certainly going to have a dramatic effect on it. The loss of some great people right there is going to be hard to take. We're doing our best, though, in the meantime, to try to put together programs and classes that will still maintain what we're currently teaching. It's going to have to look a whole lot different. Each department that's affected will have less people there, but we are still maintaining the classes that we have currently, and we're just going to have to do it in a little different way.
So, is this going to hinder the education of the students?
We're going to do all we can so that it doesn't. We've hopefully put together a plan that's going to make the best of the situation. Keeping all the classes that we have, of course, is one attempt that we've tried to maintain the programs for the best situation that we have. And we chose to do it a little across the board as opposed to trying to just eliminating a complete department or a complete set of classes. So we tried to keep all we could.
So, what is the benefit of the teachers being cut?
The benefit, I don't see any benefit whatsoever, but as far as the reason, we had to close a $1.4 million revenue versus expenditure gap in our budget, and we've tried to do it in many different ways, but with that kind of deficit, it's almost inevitable you have to go to personnel, because that's the most expensive area of the budget. We're still looking for other ways to do it. We've looked through many different options, and still are considering different things, but personnel was the case that we had to go to, and that was almost the only option that we were given. So,
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time.
glad to be able to help.
I hope that was very informative and answered any questions that you had about the subject. Well, this has been Aaron Bond with Student Standards, signing out to take a walk.